Merry Christmas to all of you. It's good to be back home, back in the States. I love going back to India. I've been there the last 3 years now, every year. Previously, I think I have mentioned to you guys that ever since I moved to the States, I'd only gone back to visit India 3 times over 16 years. And the last 3 years, I've had a chance to go for family events. And what I'm going to share with you guys today is 2 main takeaways for me, which was 1, staying at an ashram, and being at a close family cousin's wedding. So before I jump into all that, it's also customary when you come back to go visit with family and friends to share your feelings of gratitude. And the way we do that is through these things called we call them sweets, but they're like desserts slash candy. So unless any of you guys are nut allergic, I'd be happy to share some of these with all of you. So I hope you don't get too distracted while I'm talking. So let's jump into the first part of my trip, which was staying at an ashram. It's not as popular of a word yet as yoga or guru or even avatar, but an ashram is a place where like-minded people from all around the world gather to find themselves, to get re-energized and go back into the real world and do what they were supposed to do. And ashrams were popularized in the 60s with the Beatles and with Steve Jobs. And did you even know that Jesus may have gone there? I'm not saying, I'm just saying. So this ashram specifically really appealed to me because there were people from all walks of life that gather here at the end of the year. And there's all kinds of talks by political and business leaders. There's obviously meditation sessions and outdoor excursions, and obviously amazing food cooked by the local volunteers. But what keeps me going back to the ashram now for the last 3 years, and I foresee myself going back every year, is the connections that I get to make with people from all around the world. It's really cool to come back home and stay in touch with people from Australia and Poland and Argentina, and from Dubai and from Malaysia, and really get inspired by the kind of work that they're doing. After my time there, actually this is the main hall where they have decorations up at the end of the year, and here's the view from the top of the hill that we got to trek up. Really, really cool. The second part of my trip was, as I was saying earlier, a family wedding. A close cousin of mine who got married after about 6 months of deciding that he was going to get married. So it was very quick. Actually, my friends joke that after 4 weeks of being in India, whether I've come back married. And the answer is no. It doesn't take that long. So I've been to a lot of weddings here, but the festive nature of the weddings in India is a different level. I assume that most of you have not been to an Indian wedding before. And there's a lot of shopping that goes on beforehand, but the main thing that I took away were the traditions that were passed along for generations. So the day before the actual wedding, and this is my cousin who's getting presented the gifts, all our family members gather at the groom's or the bride's place and gift the groom or bride various gifts and blessings to bless them on their journey of life. The next day, the actual ceremony, or should I say ceremonies, it's a whole day full of hectic traditions, and it's a whole day of the bride and groom's family getting to know each other for the first time. And some really cool things happen along as well, where After the ceremony, the bride and groom go outside, and they have to point at this star system, one of the only star systems that we know in which both stars revolve around each other, and not one star revolving or orbiting one, symbolizing how a marriage should be. And obviously there's a lot of dancing, and there's me on the left with my cousin, my grandma, and my younger brother. And there's a lot of photo shoots, obviously. And basically by the time I finished my 7 days that I was with family, I was really feeling bittersweet. One, because I missed being back home here, but I didn't know when I would be able to see my family again in such a large festive gathering. That being said, I have some tips for all of you, which I hope you can all take up before you go to India for your first time. I would say that don't go in the summer. Winter time is the best time to go. And there is a lot of, obviously, competition, and there are a lot of people that go in the summertime, and so you get a lot less crowds in the winter. Number 2, take bug spray. Mosquitoes and I will be forever enemies, and it's even worse when you're trying to sleep at night, when these mosquitoes are just hovering around you. So definitely take that. Go with a friend or tour guide, especially one who may speak the local language. And I don't claim to be one, but I can be your friend, and I can help you navigate and negotiate through your travels. Number 4, don't just go to the Taj Mahal. That's the one that everyone wants to take that picture like this. But there's 1,050,000 other things for you to do, and I'd be happy to share some of those with you guys if you really are interested. And number 5, make sure to try all the food. India has the best goddamn cuisine in the world. Just make sure to take some Pepto-Bismol with you, and you'll thank me later. So, thanks so much for listening to me. I hope I've convinced you all to consider India on your next vacation.
Yeah.
Thank you.